My brother dumped my fiancée years ago because he was bored. Last weekend, he proposed to her at family dinner to prove I stole her. My brother Mark has been the golden child his entire life. Whatever he wanted, he got. Whatever he did was excused. He hated the idea of me having anything he didn't have and would go out of his way to one-up me on everything. When we were younger, he convinced my parents to let him take my car whenever he wanted because he crashed his, and they didn't want him to feel bad about it. Years of that treatment pushed me to go low contact with him the moment I moved out. What I didn't know during that time was that Mark had briefly dated a woman named Jen. They were only together for about a month before he dumped her because he got bored and didn't want to settle down. I never met her, and he never mentioned her. A few years later, I moved back home and met Jen at a bar completely by coincidence. She was easily the most beautiful and intelligent woman I had ever met. We hit it off immediately and started dating shortly after. I had no clue she was Mark's ex until months later when things got serious, and I finally introduced her to my family. I showed my parents pictures at dinner, and when the phone got passed to Mark, he completely lost it. He started screaming that I was a terrible brother for dating his ex, and demanded I break up with her immediately. I refused. When I asked Jen about it, she confirmed they dated briefly, and explained that he was the one who ended things because he didn't want commitment. I figured Mark would get over it eventually, and after a few weeks, he stopped bringing it up. I thought we were past it. On Jen's birthday this year, I took her out to dinner with both of our families and her closest friends. I got down on one knee and proposed. She said yes. Mark blew up again in front of everyone, yelling about how I was rubbing it in his face. My sisters and I shut him down immediately, and the rest of the night went on without him. After that, I barely saw Mark for 2 months. I assumed he went low contact with me, which I honestly preferred. Then out of nowhere, he invited me and Jen to a family dinner at his apartment. My parents and sisters were going too, so we figured it was safe and agreed to show up. Dinner was normal, nothing fancy. Afterward, we moved to the living room to talk, and everything seemed fine. About 30 minutes into the conversation, Mark stood up and said he had an announcement. He gave this long speech about how happy he was to have his family together for such a big moment. Then he got down on one knee, pulled out the cheapest ring I have ever seen, and asked Jen to marry him. The room went dead silent. Jen looked horrified and told him to put it away and stand up. He didn't move. He just kept holding the ring out and staring at her like he expected her to say yes. My dad tried to grab Mark, but I got to him first. I hit him before I even realized what I was doing. I hit him again while he was down. My dad pulled me off, and Mark stayed on the floor holding his face. He looked up at me and said he just wanted to show me that Jen was never really into me and that she was only with me to get back at him. Get back at him for what I will never understand. My parents rushed me and Jen out of the apartment before it could escalate further. They promised they would talk to him. It has been 4 days since that dinner, and I have not heard a single word from Mark or my parents. Jen has been quiet too. She keeps saying she's fine, but I can tell something is bothering her. Last night I woke up at 3 in the morning and she wasn't in bed. I found her sitting in the kitchen in the dark, staring at her phone. When I asked what she was doing, she locked the screen immediately and said nothing. I didn't push it. This morning after she left for work, I checked the phone records on our family plan. There were 47 text messages between her and Mark in the last 4 days. I haven't opened them yet. I'm not sure I want to know what they say. Full story linked below.